So I realize that I've talked a lot about how I'm on a ketogenic diet now, and I haven't really talked about what it is or how it works and if maybe it might be the thing for you to do. Here are some basics. A ketogenic diet is basically a very low carbohydrate diet that is also high in fat. It is not a high protein diet. That is a huge myth that's out there, and you don't necessarily need to eat a ton of protein when you're doing a ketogenic diet. The basics go like this. So everybody knows that your body and your brain and your organs and everything use carbohydrates for energy. Thing is, your body doesn't have to. Carbohydrates and sugar just break down easier and faster. So if they're available, your body's going to use that first. But what if you eat hardly any carbohydrates or sugar? I'm putting this very simply. I'm not going to make things too complicated for you guys, though I do encourage you to do your own research. But your body can use fat as its main source of energy. Your body can survive on a mostly fat diet. The ratio I've been trying to follow is 65% fat, 30% protein, and about 10% carbohydrate or less. So that's the basics. And some common questions are, well, wait, what about whole grains? Everybody needs whole grains, right? No! And especially not the whole grains that we're eating now. The whole grains that we're eating now are extremely processed. You can find truly whole grains in like the specialty section of a grocery store, but they're gonna be like 200 calories a slice. People don't really eat those. They like to eat the whole grain breads that are also only 50 calories a slice. And those are not the whole grains that I'm talking about. I do think that some athletes, and especially runners, can definitely benefit from having some carbohydrates in their system, because when you're running, when you're doing that much exercise, you need like energy to burn right now, especially if you don't have a bunch of energy stores all over your body like I do, which they probably don't, especially if they're running 10 miles. So yeah, those people, that they are going to need the carbohydrates. But for the rest of us Joe Schmoes that are sitting around on YouTube trying to figure out how the hell to lose weight, yeah, we don't need carbohydrates. We can survive on fat. And now you're thinking, hold on, wait. Well, the government's been telling me to avoid fat since the 1980s. What am I gonna do? I can't diet without my low-fat cookies. And I know, relax. But you know what? The government was wrong. And minds are changing. I mean, study after study is coming out that a low carbohydrate, high-fat diet produces the results that we want. Weight loss with improved blood work, improved insulin levels, improved blood pressure, improved everything. It really doesn't take much of a Google search to learn this. So some people like to say that low-carbohydrate diets are a fad. I do think that's funny because actually a low-carbohydrate diet was the golden standard used to treat obesity until the 1960s or 70s. Then all of a sudden it changed. In my opinion, they were wrong. The science back then was flat out wrong. And I think researchers are now starting to figure it out. And I'm not saying that it's a bad idea to go on a low-fat diet, to count your calories, all that stuff that you guys are used to. Listen, if that's what you like to do, if that's what makes you feel good, then I'm all for it. But I'm just saying that the other way, the high-fat way, isn't exactly misguided. It's not exactly dangerous at all, like some of my commenters have insisted. This is what I think is dangerous. When you eat a lot of fat while you're also eating a lot of carbohydrate, and especially if that fat that you're eating a lot of is the highly processed kind, the kind that's in McDonald's. And when you're eating a lot of fat along with a lot of carbohydrate, your body is going to burn whatever energy it's using. It's going to burn the carbohydrates first, and then it's that fat that your body hangs on to. Even if you're on a ketogenic diet and you're eating high fats and low carbohydrate, it is possible to eat too much fat. That's why I still kind of like to count my calories to make sure I'm not eating too much. But if you eat too much fat, more than what you're expending, then your body is going to hang on to that fat. So if you're eating high fat and carbohydrate, that is dangerous. And also, if you decide to go on a diet, you're like, okay, I'm not sure if I buy this whole fat is healthy thing, but I think I am going to cut my carbohydrates too. That's also a bad idea, because your body can either depend on carbohydrate for energy or fat. If you're depriving your body of both, not only are you going to feel like crap, but then your body's going to have to depend on your protein. And then you get into a state when you have to worry about your body starting to eat its own muscle and stuff for energy, and You don't want to do that. I want to make it clear that I realize this is a very dumbed down version of what I'm trying to say, but I just want to make it very easy to understand. I also want to make it clear that a ketogenic diet is used clinically throughout medicine, especially to treat neurological disorders. There is evidence that a diet high in fat is healthy for your brain. The most clear example is a ketogenic diet is used to treat epilepsy, especially in children. I think I read about 90% of the time it can prevent seizures in children. And the only reason why it's not really used for adults with epilepsy is adults can't really stick to the diet, but the kids, they eat whatever their parents give them, so they can do it, but the adults, not so much, which I think is kind of funny. Even if you're having seizures, it's a hard diet to stick to, I know. It's not easy to start at first. And actually reading all these brain health benefits of a ketogenic diet was a big reason why I decided to do this, because I have multiple sclerosis. Now at this point I can hear a lot of you guys thinking, Justine, no seriously, eating a lot of fat is bad for your heart. Nope. What's bad for your heart is, like I said before, yeah, if you eat a ton of fat, but you're also eating a bunch of carbohydrates and a bunch of processed crap. I'm going to go ahead and provide a link in the menu bar below that you guys, I really encourage you to read it. And this article also cites the studies that they're getting this information from to prove it to you. So I'll give you an example, this particular one. A 2006 study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, based on data collected from 82,802 women, found that the subjects who consumed the highest percentage of their daily calories from fat, including saturated fat, did not experience an increased risk of developing heart disease later in life. In fact, women who ate the highest amounts of vegetable fat from foods like olive oil and nuts had lower risks of heart disease than women on low-fat diets. Here's another one. A study published in 2010 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition compared the reported food intakes of nearly 350,000 men and women with their cardiovascular health years later, and also found no connection between saturated fat intake and heart or vascular disease. And this one really caught my attention. A 2008 meta-analysis of 37 studies reported a significant association between intake of high glycemic index foods, which means carb-heavy foods, high in sugar foods, and increased risk of type 2 diabetes, we all know that one, heart disease, gallbladder disease, and breast cancer. So I'm definitely going to put this link in the menu bar below because it is very interesting, and especially for some people that are thinking, wait a minute, I mean, these are very big studies that have been done recently that are proving that maybe fat is not the enemy. Even fats like saturated fat that we've been brainwashed into thinking that, oh my god, I cannot eat that. Again, I'm going to say one more time, this isn't something I think that should be done willy-nilly. There are some people that a ketogenic diet isn't exactly healthy for, and especially type 1 diabetics, I know offhand. Just to be safe, you should run it by your doctor. I can tell you that I've been losing weight. I don't think my skin's ever looked better. My nails feel good, my hair feels good, I feel great, I feel energized. And yeah, I mean, and on top of all that evidence I just told you in that article I really think you guys should read, there is so much anecdotal evidence on the internet of people whose lives have improved because of being on a low carbohydrate diet and by eating plenty of fat. Plenty of people improved their blood work and their energy levels and their mood and their everything. So yeah, I just want to put away the myth that this is some kind of crazy fad diet that some quack doctor put together, okay? This is something that is used in medicine. This is something that there is science backing. So just get that idea out of your head, okay, haters? One thing I forgot to say that I'm just gonna real quickly say, I did get a bunch of comments from people being like, you know, I tried a low carbohydrate diet, but I felt like crap, so, you know, I stopped doing it because I felt horrible. When you start a low carbohydrate diet and you cold turkey take out all sugar and carbohydrates, which in my opinion, I think is the best way to do it, to just go ahead and just cut it all out. You are going to feel a little unpleasant. You do go through a bit of a adjustment period. You go through an adjustment period when you're getting used to eating less carbohydrates or sugar, or I think it's even more pronounced when you're getting into ketosis, because it does take about 3 or 4 weeks for your body to adjust to burning fat for energy instead of carbohydrate. It is a process, and it's not, I mean, this isn't something quick and easy. This isn't like a 17-day diet or whatever. This is like life-changing. This is a decision that is not to be made lightly. So the withdrawals, I mean, it's not like you're gonna die, but you do feel pretty tired, you feel headachy, you feel cranky, and you feel like all you want to do is eat a piece of toast. I've been there. I went through that a few months ago when I started paleo, but luckily I didn't have to go through it this time because I didn't change much except cut out a couple things. So at this point, I'm going to invite you guys to ask me a question. What do you want to know about the keto diet? I've been getting a ton of questions, so go ahead and leave them in the comments right here. And the questions that are the most frequently asked, I'll answer in tomorrow's vlog, okay? So just leave a question if you have one. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow.